2020-2021 Texas Bluebonnet Award nominee, The Greystone Secrets, The Strangers. Chapter 1, Finn. The three Greystone kids always raced each other home when they got off the school bus, and Finn always won. It wasn't because he was the fastest. Even he knew that his older brother and sister, Chess and Emma, let him win so that he could make a grand entrance. Today he burst into the house calling out, "Mom, we're home. It's time to come adore us." Adore had been his second grade spelling list 2 weeks ago, and it had been a great discovery for him, so that it was what he had called the way he felt in his entire life. Emma, who was in the 4th grade, dropped her backpack on the rug beside him and kicked off her red sneakers. They flipped up and landed on top of the backpack. Someday, Finn vowed he would get Emma to teach him this trick. 23, Emma said. There was no telling what she might have been counting. Finn hoped it was a prediction of how many chocolate chips would be in every cookie. Mom was probably baking them right now for an after-school snack. Finn sniffed. The house didn't smell like cookies. Oh well, Mom worked from home designing websites, and sometimes she lost track of time. If today was more of a goldfish and crackers and apple slices kind of day, that was okay with Finn. He liked those too. "Mom," he called again, "your afternoon break entertainment has arrived." "She's in the kitchen," Chess said, hanging his own backpack on the hook where it belonged. "Can't you hear?" That would mean Finn had to listen for once instead of talking, Emma said, rubbing Finn's head fondly and making his messy brown hair even messier. Finn knew she didn't mean it as an insult. He was pretty sure Emma liked talking as much as he did. Chess was the one who was called the quiet Greystone. He was in the 6th grade and had grown 4 inches in the past year. Now, Finn had to tilt his head way back just to see his brother's face. He also cupped his hand over his ear and pretended to be listening really, really hard. There was a low mumbling coming from the kitchen. Maybe a man's voice? "Is Mom watching TV?" Chess asked. She never does that during the day. The kids all knew their mother's routine. She never listened to anything but classical music while she worked, because she said that the songs were too distracting. And when she really didn't want to be disturbed, she worked in the windowless room in the basement. The computer down there didn't even connect to the internet. The 3 Greystone kids called it the boring room. Now, Finn laughed at his older brother. "Are you going to stand there asking stupid questions when you could get the answer just by walking into the kitchen?" Finn asked. "Let's go eat." He dashed into the kitchen, dodging both Emma's backpack and the family's cat, Rocket, lying in the middle of the floor. He yelled, "Mom, can I cut up apples? It's my turn, isn't it?" Mom was standing at the kitchen counter with her back turned to Finn, but she didn't turn around. She had both hands clenched to the edge of the counter as if she needed to hold on. Her cell phone lay down, face down, on the floor by her feet. Her laptop sat on the counter in front of her, but it was tilted up so Finn couldn't see what was on the screen. "Mom?" Finn tried again. She still didn't turn around. It was like she didn't even hear them, like she was in a soundproof bubble. This was not like Mom. She had never acted like this before. Then she began to moan. "No, no, 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 no." Chapter 2. Emma. Emma had a substitute teacher that day. The sub had dressed in all gray and gray hair and a gray face and even a gray voice, somehow. Emma decided that was possible, and the sub made the entire day so dreary and dull that Emma had started looking for and counting weird things about the day just to keep herself awake. The thing was, if you started looking for weirdness, suddenly everything seemed that way. Wasn't it weird that the patterns of the coats hanging up on the classroom hooks went blue, green, red twice in a row? Wasn't it weird that the sub could have a gray voice, or was that just normal for her? By the time Emma got off the school bus and began racing towards the house, she counted 21 things that she considered indisputably weird. To her way of thinking, that actually made the day pretty interesting, and she was excited to tell Mom about the new trick she'd discovered for surviving school. Then she noticed that the porch light was still on, even though Mom usually turned it off when Emma and her brothers had left for school. And then stepping into the house, Emma noticed that the living room curtains were still drawn tight across the windows, and so were the blinds on the bay window at the back of the house. This turned the living room's cheery yellow walls dim and shadowy. It made the whole house feel like a cave or a hideout. 23 weird things in one day, and if that was a normal amount, and Emma had just never noticed it before, she'd have to count again some other day, or really, lots of days to know for sure. Finn and Chess started yammering on about Mom and the kitchen and the TV. Emma joined in and rubbed Finn's head because it felt good to do something normal again. Mussing Finn's hair was like petting a dog. You'd had to do it. Finn had thick, unruly hair with old, odd cowlicks that sprang out of nowhere, no matter how much Mom smoothed them down. Finn, being Finn, he claimed this meant his hair had superpowers, and now Finn was racing off to the kitchen shouting about apples. Emma looked up at Chess, and they both shrugged and grinned and followed Finn. But when they got to the kitchen, Mom wasn't hugging Finn and reaching out to hug Emma and Chess too. Finn stood in the middle of the kitchen staring at Mom. Mom stood at the counter with her back to the kids. All of her attention was focused on the laptop, and the voice coming out of the laptop was saying, the kidnapped children were in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th grade. Chapter 3, Chess. Mom, Chess said quietly. His mother's shoulders shook, and then, as if she was fighting for control of her whole body went still. Just like before, Chess thought. Of the 3 Greystone kids, only Chess remembered the awful days their father died. Chess had been 4, Emma 2, and Finn only a baby. But even Chess's memories of that day were more like puzzle pieces he kept in a box in his mind rather than one continuous video. Chess remembered that 2 sad-faced police officers at the door. He remembered the red Matchbox car he'd been holding in his hand when the door opened. He remembered the way his mom's shoulders shook before her back went ramrod straight and she turned around to face Chess, Emma, and Finn. Now Mom was reaching for the top part of her laptop as if she planned to shut it and hide whatever it was. Something made Chess stride quickly across the kitchen to grab her hand and stop her. Someone was kidnapped, he said. He caught a glimpse of the words at the bottom of the computer screen. 3 kids in Arizona. Is that anyone we know? No, Mom whispered. Her dark eyes were wide and dazed. The color had drained from her face. Shock, Chess thought. The school nurse had come in and taught a first aid unit to the 6th graders earlier that year, and Chess was proud of himself for remembering the symptoms. It was just a shame that he couldn't remember any treatment. Maybe he was feeling a little shocked himself. It was scary that anyone would be kidnapped, but Arizona was 1,000 miles away, and it wasn't like there would be some crime ring going around kidnapping kids from any family who had a 2nd grader, a 4th grader, and a 6th grader. Mom, maybe you should sit down, Emma said. Maybe that was one of the treatments for shock. Chess shot his sister a grateful look and took his mother's arm, ready to help ease her down onto the kitchen table. Rocky, Emma, and Finn Gustano were last seen leaving their school, Los Perales Elementary in Mesa. The voice coming out of the laptop speaker said. Finn started cracking up. Isn't that funny? He cried. 2 of those kids have the same first names as me and Emma. That's the 3rd Finn I've ever known. Well, not that I actually know this one, but he slugged Chess in the arm. Don't you feel bad about that you don't have this? Don't you feel bad that you don't have the same name as some kid who's famous now? And I bet when they find these kids, they'll get all the ice cream they want and all the toys they want, and their parents will probably won't make them do homework ever again. But what if nobody finds these kids, Chess thought. He wasn't about to say that to Finn. Yeah, I've never met another kid named Rochester. Chess forced himself to fake a smile around Finn. Or with the same nickname, Chess. Oh well. Maybe you should sue Mom for giving you a different name, Finn suggested. Or maybe I should sue for getting such a boring, ordinary name, said Emma, and countered. Did you know there's 3 Emmas in the 4th grade and 8 others in the rest of the school? But Chess turned out his brother and sister because Mom lifted one hand and pointed toward the laptop screen. The way that she held her hand was like a nightmare, like a Halloween ghost, like someone under a witch's spell in a fairy tale. It was like she only could point, not speak. We're repeating information we have about the Gustano children, the voice coming from the laptop said. A photo of a friendly-looking, dark-haired boy appeared on the screen, the oldest of the 3 kidnapped siblings, Rochester Charles Gustano, who goes by Rocky, just turned 12 last Tuesday. Chess's hearing blanked out temporarily. His middle name was Charles, too, and his 12th birthday had been last Tuesday. How could there have been another Rochester Charles born with the exact same day as him? And how could the other kid have been kidnapped?